Hello people, on this video I would like to talk about how Zimbabwe went bust. That is, how did it become a failed state? As you can see, the things that are happening in the country right now are not saving the people. The people are struggling, they are suffering, the economy doesn't exist, the country does not have its own currency, everything is in shambles. Only the politicians and those close to them are the ones that are benefiting and not necessarily the population. Okay, how did this happen? I'm going to say this quickly. First of all, after independence in 1980, there was no proper democracy from then on. It was kind of a one-party state. The rule of law was slowly but surely eroding. The thing that happened is the one-party state that was there were no checks and balances. That's why it's important to have opposition parties, because with opposition parties, they will then be there to keep an eye on the ruling party as opposed to have a one-party state. So what had happened in the 80s, things were kind of a bit well, but slowly but surely there was complacency on the ruling party. If you look at infrastructure, it was neglected. What the country has right now, the infrastructure that's in Zimbabwe right now, most of it is pre-1980. That is the infrastructure that was left by the Smith regime. That's the white people who were running the country. If I was someone, I was going to say it was better, in my opinion, it was better for them to leave the white people in power. If Smith's government was left in power up to this point, Zimbabwe could have been at a much, much better place. Maybe in a first world economy as opposed to being an underdeveloped economy. So from then on, there was no proper democracy. That is, there was also no proper investment in infrastructure, of course a little bit towards education, but not that much. The health sector was neglected. As you can see, there are no new hospitals. The roads, the water system in cities like Harare, you can't drink it, you get sick, people die in cholera in the capital city, because the infrastructure is an old infrastructure that was put in place by the previous regime before 1980. So that infrastructure, the water system, the sewage system, was not meant for a large population. That infrastructure was meant for a smaller population, which was there back then. So the authorities were supposed to plan ahead so that by the time when you have this ballooning population, when you have Harare with lots of people like now, there will be enough water system and proper sewerage system. But that was not done. You have old infrastructure, so now it's falling apart. Everything is just collapsing. So the reason is because there was neglect. It wasn't taken care of properly. So the second thing is there was no investment in terms of bringing new investors to the country. That was not done properly, because what has happened is we have now China. Only China is doing much. China can't do much. They are selling their second clothes and stuff. They are not really developing the economy, the Chinese. They are actually sucking the little currency that's in the country. They are not doing much. It was better to be a country that deals with everybody, including the West, because as you can see, the Zimbabwe's economic system was tied to the West as opposed to the East. The economic structure, we look at the banking system, the financial system in the country, and most of these companies are actually Anglo-American. So it doesn't make sense to look East, then you neglect those ones that deals much with controlling the global economy. Because in my view, a country won't succeed if you don't deal with the people that control the global economy. The global economy is being run from the West, not from the East. As a matter of fact, the Chinese need the West to progress. You look at their smartphones and everything, they use technology from the West. So the other thing that didn't happen properly in Zim was that the leader was there. He failed to groom a successor. He then became a dinosaur. He kept on staying in power for a very long time. He was supposed to groom a successor. That successor was the one that was going to pass the baton to the next person, because it doesn't make sense to have a leader who stays in power for 20, 30 years. He was supposed to groom a leader. If he wanted to rule from the grave, right, you appoint a successor. That successor will then take over from you, going to the next person. That wasn't done. He had to be forced out by the army. The army themselves also have their own interests. They don't have the interest of the people. They remove him so that they then take power themselves. So at the end of the day, the country is still back to square one. Nothing has changed. Things are really, really difficult. Nothing is improving in the country. As a matter of fact, everything is degenerating. That's why it is as it is right now. Things are not happening for the people. The people are still struggling.